My mom and I are in a massive fight over my fiance. This was first posted October 19th, 2024. First, some quick background info. My mom and I were in a pretty bad car accident in GA in 2019 that gave her a traumatic brain injury and damaged her frontal lobe. Decision-making, emotional regulation, logical thinking. She moved to AZ about 6 months later, was doing fine. Then the pandemic hit and she was made homeless. I was in college at the time and in no position to up and leave, so we helped my younger brother, 20 male at the time, move out to AZ to help her. Fast forward 4 years and it has been a series of disasters for them. I have helped where I can, but they have been royally screwed by individual people, the insurance companies, by advocacy groups, and by mental health facilities. Okay, this is good context to have before we start judging people, right? Well, she came to GA to visit for the first time since she left and is staying for a month. She doesn't know my fiance very well since we started dating after she left, and they've only interacted on one family beach trip, which went poorly when we moved my brother out west. She hates the fact that his family has different political views than ours. Never mind that he is very aligned to our beliefs. It's his family that's the problem. She also believes that he wants to isolate me from my family in an attempt to become emotionally abusive. She thinks that our future children will grow up to be hateful racists and that I will end up a battered woman. That's a lot to assume. She has her own trauma related to abusive men, physical, emotional, sexual, the works, and I know that any aggression, perceived or real, is hard for her to handle. Oh my gosh, my sign has not been in it the whole time. Framed properly. During a discussion, my fiance made a comment about how his mom had said she wanted to be put in a home if she were ever unable to take care of herself. And my mom flew off the handle in a rage about how he wanted to put her in a home and how he was attacking an older disabled woman, and that made him an abuser. The fight ended so badly with her walking out of the house, swearing that she would leave and never come back. She screamed hateful things about my fiance, about me, and about how I was re-traumatizing her by not defending her against him. That was yesterday, and after talking to my best friend and my work family, I realized that I need to establish some boundaries with her. It hurts me. It hurts him. It hurts the relationship between my mom and I when she screams insults at him and about him. She keeps saying she won't make me choose between them, but that if I want to be with him, my family will hate him forever and will never even be in the same room as him or his family again. Has anyone else been in a situation where they had to contemplate cutting ties with a parent? I don't want to cut her out, but she's causing me so much stress and she's actively driving a wedge in my relationship with my fiance. Am I just being a young, naive girl in love, or does this behavior seem irrational? Yes, I know she has a brain injury and is already irrational to some degree, but this seems like way more than that. To anyone else? My family is small, just me, my mom, and my younger brother at this point, and I feel like I'm in an impossible situation where I need to lose my fiance or my mom and brother. Literally, any advice is appreciated. Now, here are the top comments. This is what everyone is saying within the first part of the story, but of course, we have some updates. Comment number 1, I can't believe you allowed her to treat your fiance that way. If this were a man allowing his mom to treat his wife that way, all hell would break loose. If you want a happy marriage, set her straight and make her behave if she refuses to cut contact. I've cut contact with my crazy parents and I have no regrets. My life has so much less drama. Constant drama can ruin you mentally and physically. Next comment. She is saying she won't make you choose between them, but she will hate him forever. So she has made her own choice. Live your life. If she refuses to visit, it's her choice. If she refuses to come to your wedding, it's her choice. If she refuses to meet any future grandchildren, it is her choice. All you can do is be ready to welcome her back in with open arms if she decides to be more reasonable. But you need to prepare yourself for the possibility that that may never happen. And be aware that if you ever decide to choose your mother instead of your fiance, she would probably find something she hated about every man you met, and you'll be alone until she dies. Interesting perspective. Where are you guys at? Put it in the comments. What are we feeling? But in the meantime, let's move on. The next update came 6 days later. I had been engaged to my fiance for just over 2 years, and we dated for nearly 3 years before he proposed. We set a wedding date back when we got engaged, but postponed it because my family was going through a rough patch and it didn't feel right to me. We are now aiming for April 2025. I wonder if it happened. Venue is booked and everything. However, my mom despises my fiance. She says that he has warning signs of an emotional abuser, that he is selfish and wants to keep me to himself, and that he's going to turn me into a helpless housewife to just pop out babies for his southern racist family. Like, quite some claims for someone she's only met twice. For clarification, I am a kindergarten teacher currently pursuing my master's degree and have exactly 0 plans to have kids in the next 5 years, which he agrees with. He is an electrical engineer also pursuing a master's degree and does not agree with his family conservative beliefs. She lives across the country and recently came to visit for a month, and it ended badly, as we know. I mean, screaming fights, storming out of the house, and crying until 2 a.m., all of which accumulated in me driving her to the airport 2 weeks early. She swears she will never step foot back in my state for any reason, and she refuses to be in a room with my fiancé or his family ever again. Well, while she was here, I didn't get a chance to tell her that we are planning to go through with the wedding, things are booked, etc. I fully intended to, but with all the fighting and turmoil, I didn't have a chance. Now my fiancé and his family are asking questions about where we're at in the wedding planning process, and I'm really torn on how to answer. On the one hand, we could reschedule the entire thing and I could work with my mom to get her to agree to come. On the other hand, we could go through with the wedding, but I would have exactly 0 family members present. I desperately want my mom to be there, but I don't know if she'll ever come to terms with my fiance's existence and importance in my life. So why would you want her there then, though? If she literally does not like your fiance, does not support your relationship, has horrible things to say about it, why would you want her there on the very special day to celebrate your love with this person? I understand trying to reconcile with mom, but on the wedding day, why would you want her there? I get it. She's your mom. And I'm not sure I want to keep postponing the wedding because she's not ready for me to get married yet. So would I be the a-hole if I do go through with it? Some extra info was added to this post. My mom does have a TBI, which affects her emotional regulation. She has had the TBI since before I started dating my fiance, so he never met her beforehand. Despite the brain injury, she swears that she's being perfectly reasonable and that as an older woman who has dated a lot more than I have, just the one, and has known abusive men, that I should trust her implicity and leave him. Everyone has been asking, so here are some of the warning signs that she says are emotionally abusive. All right. Let's check them out. Maybe they're valid. Number 1, he wouldn't leave me alone with her while she was here visiting. She is referring to the fact that while we would talk in the evenings, he was always in the room because we talked in the living room of the small house where we live. Never mind that he literally stayed out of the house for 2 days so that we could hang out together, just my mom and I.
Okay.
Number 2, he does not encourage a strong bond between my mother and I. She means that he has not pushed me to go visit my mom and brother across the country, even when they needed help. My reasoning is that I don't actually want to go across the country very often, so even when he asks me if I want to, my answer is usually no. Number 3, he is gay and uses me as a beard.
What?
She's referring to the fact that years ago, before we even started dating, I made an offhand comment about how people thought that the new server might be gay. We worked in a restaurant with lots of liberal college kids and straight people were in the minority, so we kind of assumed everyone was LGBTQ+, unless told otherwise. I was obviously wrong, as we had been together for 5 years with no issues in the bedroom and many conversations about the facets of sexuality. That's also a bold assumption, Mom. Number 4, he encourages me to lie to her. I lied about going on a trip to Puerto Rico entirely by my own choices and despite multiple warnings by him and my best friend that it would end poorly. It did end poorly and she does not trust me anymore, which is a separate issue. But again, it was my choice to lie. He actively told me it was a bad idea and I didn't listen. So I feel like the issues actually just more lie within her and maybe you and her, and she's just blaming every single thing on him. And yeah, she's blaming it all on him. We're going to check out some more comments from the OOP. And then we got another update. But in the meantime, I need to hydrate, and so do you. Grab a beverage, but you should drink some water today, okay? Cheers. All right, so these are all comments that the OOP wrote back to people. Very active in the chat. Number 1, my family broke apart almost 10 years ago when my grandma died, and all I have left are my mom and younger brother. My side of the aisle would just be my best friend, a few close friends, and some friends from work. Next comment. I usually would agree with you about people not saying someone is abusive just because. However, my mom has been abused by many men over the years, one of whom was my biological father. It's one of those situations where I can't tell if she's saying it because she's seen it firsthand and recognizes the signs, or if she's saying it because she's seen it so many times and now just sees it everywhere. That's an interesting perspective. Next, it was a fight between my mom and my fiance because she asked him what he would do if his mom had been beaten and made homeless. He responded that his mom had asked to be put in a home if she couldn't take care of herself. He meant it innocently enough, but she had this deep-rooted fear of mental health facilities and homes for disabled people, so it sparked terror in her. She was furious with me for not defending her against my fiance because he was abusing her and triggering PTSD of when her father used to physically abuse her and her mom didn't defend her. So I can see how that would be triggering for someone who's been through that for sure. But I can also see that his intentions were just like, no, my mom said she would want to go to a home if she couldn't take care of herself. So we would totally do that for you if you couldn't take care of yourself. He probably meant it in a nice way, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. Next comment. Literally no one else has any concerns about him. My best friend actually lived with us for 3 years while we were dating and then engaged, and she only ever has good things to say about him. I've known her since middle school. I know her family well, and I fully trust her to tell me if I'm being an idiot or if I need to dump him. Yeah, a girlfriend living with you, if she sees signs of that,
Oh, hell no.
oh, she ain't even gonna let it go till tomorrow. Next comment. The instances I was referring to were times that my mom called me in the middle of the night because of a crisis, expecting me to drop everything and be at her side to solve the problem. Emotionally, I understand where she was coming from because she needed help and wasn't able to do it herself. Logically, however, it simply isn't always possible. I am a teacher of small children with the pay of a small child, and I can't simply fly across the country every time something goes wrong. It is a logistical nightmare for teachers to get time off, even for regular things like doctor's appointments, so I can't just up and leave for unknown lengths of time. I am always supportive over the phone, and I coordinate with my brother to make sure that she gets help. We have another update, which came 1 month later. A little background. We have had Life 360 on our phones for years, since my mom was a single mom and my brother and I got home from school before she did. It's never been a problem because she checks it for peace of mind, knowing where her kids are. Now she lives across the country with my brother and I am in a different state. She has a brain injury and still looks at my location a lot since I'm not great at answering texts all the time. My mom is in her 50s. I am 25, my brother is 23. Last Christmas, I turned off my Life 360 because I was going on a trip to Puerto Rico. Why'd I say that weird? That I knew she wouldn't approve of. I lied about it when my brother asked why it was turned off. My mom caught me in a lie and it blew up our relationship pretty badly because she felt that she couldn't trust me. I am well aware that I was the a-hole in that part of the situation. I shouldn't have turned it off, and I definitely shouldn't have lied. Well, as long as you're taking accountability for that, because I can understand. Yeah, probably shouldn't have done it that way, or at all. However, nearly a year has passed. Our relationship is still very rocky, and recently we are on the outs about my upcoming marriage. She doesn't approve and doesn't want it to happen, but I've decided I'm still doing it. She has started using my location against me, calling and starting fights whenever I spend time with my soon-to-be in-laws, asking why I'm leaving the house in the evenings, or what my plans are on the weekend that require me to drive an hour away from home. About 2 weeks ago, she and my brother turned off their locations and told me they were going to walk into the desert and, oh God, and take their lives. I panicked, called the cops, and it turns out it was all a cry for help. They were sitting at home, totally fine. Well, I turned off my location out of anger and frustration. The thinking was if they were going to turn off theirs and lie to me, then they don't need to know my every move anymore. This is getting to be too much. My brother texted me a couple days ago asking me to please turn my location back on so they can know when I am home. I am reluctant because I'm still angry and hurt by their words and actions, and it has honestly been pretty freeing to know that my mom can't sabotage my days out of nowhere by calling and starting fights when I leave my house. I know that she does look at my location for peace of mind. Remember, brain injury, very emotional, very anxious. I also feel that at 25, in a different state, I should have a certain level of privacy from my mom. She does not need to know my every move, but I did turn it off once before, and that ended up causing the big mistrust of lies, and I don't want to do that again either. So, would I be the a-hole if I keep it turned off, or should I do what they want and turn it back on? I feel like this relationship's just going to go in circles and not going to get any better if there's no boundary set in place, if nothing changes. What about therapy? What about counseling? For individually, together, we need some boundaries. We need a fresh start. How can we help mom feel at ease while also having privacy, communicating better with each other? Oh, I don't know. This is a mess. We have another update though. This one came 7 months after the last update. For some background, my mom and I were decently close growing up, but she moved to Arizona when I was a junior in college, and our communication has suffered a lot. There are other circumstances that have led us here, but the gist is that I don't want to talk all the time. I do not have the social battery to talk to her every single day after school. I am a kindergarten teacher. I usually aim for once a week updates and check-ins. However, my mom is a very social person and has a hard time understanding how I can care about her when I just don't talk to her. She says that it feels like I'm ignoring her, that I don't care enough about her life, and that this isn't a healthy relationship. She says that I should be able to communicate more regularly with people that I love. I am stuck and struggling with how to move forward because the fact is she is draining. Our phone calls are several hours long and so incredibly exhausting, and I don't want to force myself through that just to maintain a relationship with her. Then again, she is my mom, and relationships take work on both sides. Do I make myself suffer through more frequent phone calls, or is it okay not to talk to someone, especially my mom, that frequently? Am I missing something about how communication should work between a mother and daughter? I am self-diagnosed autistic, and my mom chooses not to believe me because she thinks it's an out for me not handling things that I should. Honestly, this is draining to read. I can't imagine being in it. Next update, 6 days from the last one. So an update. We got married! It happened! A lot of y'all told me to go through with it, and after a lot of thought, we did. When my mom left in October, we were in a bad place and we were having a lot of really awful phone calls and screaming fights. I was desperate to do something, and I finally found a therapist, bless, who helped me process some of the things that happened between my mom and I and my role in things. In the months leading up to the wedding, my mom continued to scream at me over the phone and make threats about me choosing him or her, and how she hoped I wasn't the kind of girl who got rid of her family to please a man who would end up leaving her anyway.
Oh, hell no.
So supportive. Thanks, Mom. She was downright hateful, and I spent a lot of time crying over our relationship because I couldn't believe we had gotten to this point. Even knowing that some of her dysregulation was because of the brain injury, I just couldn't believe my own mom would threaten me, call me a C word and tell me I wasn't allowed to be upset with her because she has been traumatized her whole life. We got married in April and my mom and brother did not attend. I was able to reconnect with my mom's cousin, who I used to be close with as a child, and she and her family came to the wedding. A close friend performed the ceremony, plus, of course, my husband's family was very supportive. There were times I missed my mom and I wanted to see her smile in the audience, but I ultimately was glad that she wasn't there. I would have felt like I had to perform and cater to her every whim, and I am so glad I was able to just have a lovely day with all the people who came to celebrate with us. Just to reaffirm my feelings about her not being there, my mom did not contact me at all on the day of and only called me a week later to ask whether I would be sharing any pictures with her. I did send her a few because I thought a small part of her might care, but all she did was comment on how it looked like a cheap Amazon wedding. She hoped I was happy with my crappy choices and that they were at the loss of my family. I miss her constantly despite all our issues, but I haven't cut her off completely. We have been having a hard time communicating at all right now, and I don't know if it will ever get better, but I am happily married and I don't regret it. One final comment from the OOP. I wouldn't wish this stress on anyone. I can tell you that one of the best lessons I've learned is that I have a right to privacy, a right to set boundaries, and a right to maintain them. In my context, that means that my mom doesn't need to have my location at all times. I am allowed to tell her that I only have 30 minutes, for example, to talk, and I am allowed to hang up the phone when that time limit is reached. I will always love my mom, but I don't have to let her control me. It's taken me a long time, close to 6 years, to figure these things out with the help of friends, a supportive partner, and more recently, a licensed therapist. I'm in therapy, y'all. Therapy is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I encourage everyone, if you can, let me know your thoughts on this, you guys. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you in the comment section.